This is an assignment or a topic test for 10-1 statistics, and I'll just go through it. It is available on our website. In the first question here, we have to find the mean and the standard deviation of those 6 scores. So we use our calculator, etc., etc. In question 2, complete the cumulative frequency table. Remember, the cumulative frequency table is the total so far as we work down the page. And so far, up until here, the cumulative frequency total is 3. If you look at the first two, the scores of 2 and 3, we get a total of 8. And remember, this zigzagging approach also works. 8 plus 0 is 8, 8 plus 7 is 15, 15 plus 5 is 20. The total that's here will, of course, all the time be the same as the total when we add up the frequency columns. Now when we actually want to draw a cumulative frequency histogram and polygon, across the bottom we have the scores, and up the side we have the cumulative frequency. Now as you can see, we have up to 20 on the cumulative frequency vertical column. As far as the scores are concerned, the cumulative frequency for 2 is 3. So that's 2, that's 4, and so we got there. Then 3, it goes up to 8. 4, it goes up, stays at 8. 5, it goes up to 15. That's 12, that's 16, so there's 15 there. And in 6, it goes up to 20. From there, if we were asked to find the cumulative frequency histogram and also to draw the polygons, you recall, actually join the corners of, so we go across there, down to here and there. So the line is a cumulative frequency polygon, where the blocks is the cumulative frequency histogram. So it's important to label. Now, when using this diagram to find the median, lower quartile, and so on, the median is the middle score, and we can look at the vertical axis here, and it goes up as high as 20. So halfway up to 20 is 10. So with 8 there and 12 there, there's 10. And we draw a horizontal line until we actually hit our cumulative frequency polygon, or the Yogov. And if we now bring that down here, the answer is 5. Notice that we're not talking about group data here. The lower quartile is a quarter of the way up to 20 is 5, so that's 4, that's 8, that's 6, that's 5. We go across and come down, that's 3. When we're working on the upper quartile, that's 3/4 of the way up here. Upper is the 75th percentile, that's the upper quartile, and that's 3/4 of the way up to 20. If 10 was halfway, then 3/4 would be 15. That's 12, that's 16, that's 14, that's 15. We draw a horizontal across to where we hit the cumulative frequency polygon, and we get 6. The inner quartile range is the difference between the lower and the upper, and so 6 take away 3 is 3. Using a 5-point summary, draw a box and whisk a plot of these 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 scores. The first job is to actually rearrange these in ascending order. So we start with a 2, and then a 3, and then a 4, and then a 4, and then a 5, then a 5, then a 6, then a 7, then an 8. Now, remember I had 9 scores there. Make sure we've got the 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We do. Now, to find the first job is to find the median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our middle score turns out to be the 5. We have 4 before the median, so the middle of these 4 scores here is actually 3.5. And the middle of these 4 scores here is 6.5. So there's our lowest score, our Q1, our median, our Q3, and our highest score. So if the 8 was our highest score, the lowest score is 2. The Q1 is 3.5, Q3 is 6.5, and the median is 5. We end up with this box and whisker plot. In the next one, same story. go from lowest to highest. So we're arranging in order: 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, another, that's it, 5, 6, 6, and 8. 2, 4, 6, 8 terms there. 2, 4, 6, 8 terms there. The middle score, being an even number of scores, the middle score will be the middle of these two middles, because here we have our median, 4.5. That spot there, there's 4 before it, there's 4 after it. The 4 before it, the middle of these 4 scores is actually 3.5. The middle of these 4 scores is 6. So again, we have lowest score, highest score, and then Q1, median, and Q3. So if 2 is our lowest score, 8 is our highest score, 3.5 is our lower quartile, 6 is our upper quartile, and 4.5 is our median. And we end up with this diagram, that being our box and whisker plot. Stem and leaf display, and we have to arrange it in a box and whisker plot. If we were to be considering our scores here, of course that score there is 2, 3, 5, and that one there is 10, 14, 16, 18, and so on. So the lowest crosses the highest, the lowest crosses the highest, the lowest crosses the highest, the lowest crosses the highest. So in between 14 and 16 appears to be our median. So if you like, our median, which can be defined as Q2, is 15. Our Q3 is, if the middle score is where I'm pointing to here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comes after it. The middle of those scores is 23. And Q1, the middle of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scores, the middle of those 5 scores is that 5 there, which is 5. So the lowest score is 2. The highest score is 24. The Q1 is 5. The Q3 is 23. And the median score is 15. I just realised here 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. That's actually 26 there. So that will be our 23 there. We join those up, and the part that I haven't displayed here is the Q2, or the median, which is 14, 18, 16, 15. As far as the next area is concerned, the mean is for each of these scores. And so English 65, the median, 65 is the mean, standard deviation is 3, and Pat here seems to have, well, comparing 65 and 72, he's gone up by 7. So he's actually more than the mean plus 2 standard deviations. As far as science are concerned, his score here is 80. The mean was 70 and the standard deviation is 5. So to get his 80 is actually the mean and 2 standard deviations. So at the moment, English seems to be the better result because it's bigger than the mean plus 2 standard deviations. Geography is 75. He got 77. He just got 1 extra standard deviation on from the mean. So we'll just put mean plus 1 standard deviation. These two here, certainly English in the order, English is the best, then followed by science and geography. History, he actually got lower than the mean. He only got 78, and so he is less than the mean. So Pat's best result is actually English, and Pat's second best is science, and then Pat's worst is history, even though it is 78. Here is a set of scores: 3, 6, 5, 4, 8. What impact will including another score of 4 have on the standard deviation? If we look at what we have here, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. So the 4 is nearly in the middle of what we already have here. So it will lower the standard deviation as compared to if it had been a 63, for example. It would stretch, there would be a greater range. And so in that situation involving a 63, listing it on the end of this would suggest that the standard deviation is higher. So it increases the standard deviation. When we talk about skewing, we either have a normal distribution or one that is skewed to the right, or it's positive skewed, or it's negative skewed. In this case, the tail, if we were to lift up and come back down again, the tail seems to be, no, actually that's supposed to be normal. That's normal. This bloke here, as you can see, the tail swings around. The tail is heading towards the positive direction, therefore it's positively skewed. What we're talking about there is the fact that traditionally on a number line, to the right is positive numbers, and to the left is negative numbers. And so when the tail, as is the case here, when the tail or a section of the graph seems to be running towards the left, then it's called negative skewed. The mean of 8 scores is 6 if another score is included. The mean doubles. What's the new score? So the total of those 8 scores is actually 8 times 6, which is 48. If another score is included, the mean doubles. So the total of the 9 scores, if the old mean was 6 and the new mean has doubled, that means 6 times 2 is 12, and so the mean of these mean of these 9 scores is 12, which means the total is 9 12s, 108. Therefore, the new score must have been 60. A set of 7 scores has a mean of 10. If 2 is added to each of the scores, what happens to the mean? Well, the mean will go up by 2. So the mean increases by 2. Whereas the standard deviation, it doesn't change. The spread of the scores doesn't change if we just added 2 onto each of the scores. And finally, in question 10, if we have a cumulative frequency, the key here is to recognize that there's a cumulative frequency, and then we have to actually complete a normal frequency table. This is telling us that there are 2 4s. This is telling us that when you have 3 4s and 5s together, there are 3 scores, which means there's only 1 5. We've just increased from the cumulative frequency of 2 up to a cumulative frequency of 3. And you know what, in 6 we didn't increase at all, so there'll be a 0 there. And then in 7 it goes up as high as 4. It rose from 3 up to 4, and so there's only 1 score there. So when it's all said and done, the cumulative frequency, the highest value in the cumulative frequency column is 4, is telling us that there are only 4 scores, and that's the way they're distributed. So the mean can be calculated using the calculator. I haven't got mine here today, and the mean is that. Hopefully you understood that. Remember, you can just download another copy, a blank copy from our site. Thank you.